want to welcome you to an idea, to something that I've come to realize in my life now after 70 years of being on this earth, which is that each individual I've met has an inner genius, an inner spirit of understanding. And if you think about the root of genius, one of the definitions is a special talent or ability or capacity. And I believe each person on this earth has a special ability, a talent, a capacity. I'll give you an example. My maternal grandmother, Marcy Haynes, had a genius for compassion and for warmth. When people were around her, they felt this great sense of warmth and a compassionate heart that seemed to be completely accepting. That was the only place in my young life where I felt a sense of absolute unconditional love. That was the genius that my maternal grandmother had. My mother has a genius for being able to engage strangers. She'll walk into a grocery store. It used to drive my dad crazy. He'd sit in the car, send her in for a loaf of bread. She'd come back 45 minutes later. He'd be fuming. And she'd be talking about Patty having talked to her about this. And he says, "We don't know Patty." "Oh, no, I just met her in the line." And she started talking about her family. And then we talked about issues she has with her husband. And so the genius can be that gift, that capacity, that ability you have to bring something special into the world, into this life. And we've all heard the term superpower. You don't have to be a Marvel or a DC comic fan or watch one of the movies to realize that there is a superpower in each person. And that superpower takes different shapes and different forms. The key is to have the discernment to recognize and appreciate the superpower each person brings. So the question I have for you, what is your superpower? What is the inner genius, the talent, the gift, the special thing you have to bring to this world? And to help you with that, I'm going to bring up the ancient Celts. The ancient Celtic mind talked about the divine power that we have to shift our shape-shifting, to shift ourselves through our imagination, through our capacity, into something completely different. So let me give you an example. If you would, just for a moment, either cast your eyes down or close your eyes for just a moment. And I want you just to imagine an eagle, big, majestic bird soaring high in the sky, wings spread out, catching the updrafts, and looking out at the world a mile below, being able to see a mouse a mile away, moving in the grass, being able to soar in the wind, looking up and seeing the mountains in the far distance. And for a moment, just imagine you are that eagle, stepping into that form, and imagine yourself soaring, the wind, the updrafts, against the feathers of your wings, against your body. And you're soaring high, high above it all, with a huge perspective that you'd never really realized before. Seeing past your neighbors, past the neighbor yards, past the town, maybe far into the distance into a mountain, or seeing the ocean. And as you soar, you also look down, you realize you have the capacity to really see at 2005 vision a mouse a mile away down on the ground. And you feel that power and you feel that perspective. Now bring that perspective and bring that power back and feel it inside yourself. What might you see if you let yourself step into a larger frame of reference? What might you see if you knew not only could you see further away, but you could also see closer in? That you have that capacity for that bifocal way of seeing the larger picture and then being able to see tiny details and paying attention to it. Now, imagine a great dolphin or a great whale swimming in the ocean, the vast depths of the ocean. And that whale, that dolphin, is rising on waves, buoyant. And imagine yourself as that creature, as that being, being able to glide through the water powerfully, easily, freely, diving deep, deep into the ocean, coming up, feeling the waves, knowing through echolocation, sounding out and seeing your fellows, seeing other shapes, other things in the water that your eyes can't see, but through the internal radar you can perceive. And feel the freedom of that, being able to penetrate and see things without your eyes. An awareness, almost like a sixth sense, a fifth or sixth sense for you. And imagine what it'd be like to be that buoyant, to be that powerful, to glide that easily, to see things without your eyes, the inner shape of things around you. And now bring yourself back. And if your eyes were closed, maybe on your next breath, open them. If your eyes were cast down, look up. The ability to use your imagination to move into different shapes and different forms is part of the inner genius we all have. The ability to engage active imagination. The poet William Blake called it divine imagination. It's that capacity that seems handed down to us as co-creators of our life or as creators of our life. If you think about it, I think the essence of Pono has to do with claiming the great power of your heart and your mind in union. Being able to take the passion, the yearning, the love, the courage, that great strength, and marry it with your brilliance, your ability to imagine things, to see things, to reshape yourself in imagination, if not reality, into something else, someone else, a different way of being. That capacity is part of your genius. It's part of your superpower. And when you claim that superpower, then a lot of the things that have limited you, a lot of the things that perhaps blocked you begin to fall away. So let's say you had a belief system you grew up with that I'm just not smart enough, or I'm not good enough, or I'm not lovable the way I am. Well, what hold do those beliefs have on an eagle soaring a mile up in the sky? What hold do those beliefs have on a great whale gliding through the ocean? They have no hold at all. When you can shift into these shapes, you begin to look back on the old shape, the more limiting shape of your old thoughts, your old ways of being. And you realize they don't fit anymore. And those can drop away. Now, when those drop away, more of your inner genius is revealed. Because it's hard to let yourself really shine, brightly, when you keep putting blankets on top of that light, when you keep putting bushels on top of the blankets, when you keep parking, a super taker on top of that. So what happens is that when you do those things, there is no way that you can really be your best self, because your limiting beliefs, your limiting thoughts keep you from being able to claim your superpower. So I'd like you to think about this. What is your superpower? And to help you with that, again, I'm going to ask you to use your imagination, use your capacity, your divine capacity to shift. I'd like you to either cast your eyes down or close your eyes. It's just easier going inward. And as you do that, I want you to take a deep breath, and I want you to feel the chair beneath you. And as you feel the chair beneath you, I want you to lean back and feel your back supported. Feel your feet on the floor. And take a deep breath, starting in your belly, slowly coming up into your chest, and let it go. Just let it go, maybe with a slight sigh. And take another breath, breathing in, opening up, raising your shoulders with that breath, and then exhale, letting it go, letting it down. And once more, breathing in deeply, open up, feeling any tension in your neck, shoulders back. And as you exhale, release it. Just let your shoulders drop. Now just breathe easily and openly, just in a relaxed, calm way. With your eyes closed or cast down, knowing you're safe and secure in the chair. There's nothing you need to do. There's nothing to worry about. It's just now. And as you do that, want you to imagine that you see 5 steps going down, and they go down into a little amphitheater. That amphitheater is a magical amphitheater. Incredible things can happen there, where truths can be revealed, where powers can be claimed, where your inner genius can flourish. And as you would take a step down, step 5, 4, take a deep breath, step down to 3, another breath, 2, one more breath, step to 1, and step into that small amphitheater. It's your amphitheater. Only things that you wish and will can appear there. And it is a protected place. And as you step out into it, I want you to imagine calling up your inner genius, your inner superpower. And I want you to, as you call for that superpower to appear, it may appear as a figure, somebody you know. It might appear as an animal. It could appear simply as an image. It might appear as a breeze caressing your cheek. But call on your inner genius, this inner giftedness you have. What is the unique gift, the superpower you bring to life? And as you call that forward, notice what you feel. Notice what you see. It probably won't be an image of you flying through the sky with one fist clenched like Superman or Superwoman. But it might. It could be an image of you holding one of your children and the huge capacity you have for unconditional love. It could be the imagination of seeing a castle and a dragon with diamond scales, iridescent, glowing, and breathing out plumes of fire that don't burn, but actually heal and inspire. It could be many, many things. I'd like you to just imagine yourself in this amphitheater, your special place. And I want you to call on that inner genius and notice what comes up. Who comes up? What are the feelings? And I want you to ask for an image of a time in your life when your genius showed itself. It could have been in a difficult meeting. It could have been at work. It could have been in a personal or family relationship. It could have been while you were out walking on a mountainside. It could have been while you were feeling the waves of the ocean gently crash against you. A time when you stood up to fear. A time when you stood up to a bully. A time when you had the courage to do what you knew in your heart you most wanted to do. See that moment. Know that moment. What was the capacity and the quality? Feel it in your heart, where in you that genius lives and where it dwells. For many people, it's in their heart. For some, it's between their eyes, where the third eye would be. For some, it is in their backbone, a backbone of supple steel. For some, it's how they dance. It's in their hips and their legs. Where in your body does that inner genius live? Claim it. Feel it. Now imagine a situation you're facing in your life now. Imagine a situation or difficulty. And imagine bringing that superpower to bear, feeling it in your body again, and bringing it to bear and seeing yourself use that capacity to help you successfully deal with whatever the challenge is, whatever the difficulty is, and know that inner genius is yours. Feel that. Know it is accomplished. Accomplished in your imagination, accomplished in your feelings, accomplished in spirit. It's just now a matter of letting reality catch up with the ultimate reality of your greater self and your greater imagination. Now, while you're in that amphitheater, I want you to imagine that an old wise figure, could be female, could be male, approaches you. And they have a gift to give you, a gift that will help your genius to flourish and for you to claim it even more. And this older, wiser being is giving you this gift so that you can carry on the legacy that this being had, because there is a heritage of that genius flowing now to you. And this is a passing of the torch. You're ready to step forward. You're ready to build on the successes of this older, wiser being, and for that to claim and be who you really are as you move forward. And as you step forward, and as you feel that, and as you see that, you know that you're ready to step forward. You're willing to step forward in a much more powerful way in this world and being. Take a deep breath, accept that gift, and see if that gift takes the form of a symbol or something tangible, or it's just a feeling state. And feel where in your heart and in your head that lives, where that will be. And then taking that gift, taking that inner genius, come back up the steps, coming up 1, 2, 3, feeling lighter and fuller, 4 and 5, and stepping out. And as you step up and out, you're ready to let that inner genius flower and flourish and shine forth in ways it hasn't before, except for moments. You're ready to really claim that. That's capacity, that genius, that ability, through the power of divine imagination, through the power of the courage and grace of your heart, through the capacity to image and see things that maybe you've never seen. You can create those through that capacity, that innate capacity you have to be and see and even do more than you ever thought possible. So claiming your inner genius, claiming your superpower, has to do with knowing you came here for a reason. You came here and it's tied to your purpose. It's tied to that purpose you have in your life. My purpose, which I claimed when I was 32, was to come from my deepest heart and invite everyone I meet to come from theirs. So together we could be our authentic best selves. And the values around that the 4 core values around that inform and support that have to do with compassion and courage, authenticity and grace. Well, those, remembering my purpose, remembering those values, allows me to let my superpower flourish. And my superpower is whatever comes at me, whatever's thrown at me, I can blend with that energy, accept it, and move with it. There's a sense of no resistance. There's a sense of acceptance, engagement, and moving from my center. It's a form of if you will, physical and verbal Aikido, where I don't make myself wrong. I don't make the other wrong. I engage, I take that energy, and I move with it around my center. And I find a way to turn opposition into friendship and contraries into progress. That's my superpower. And it has to do with looking at people from the heart and engaging their hearts, as opposed to a head-to-head confrontation. Here's a secret. You will never persuade another human being at the level of logic. People are locked into their belief systems and their set of logic. And their minds are trapped in channels of seeing, thinking, believing. It's not until you engage the heart and you get the heart to follow that the head will change. So first engage the heart, then thoughts begin to shift. Do you have that superpower? Or is there a different superpower you have? Like a superpower to stand strong in the midst of turmoil without bending? Or is it the capacity to be flexible and to bend and to move without ever giving up your roots? Is it the capacity to show compassion? Is it the capacity for forgiveness? Is it the capacity for imagination? Is it the capacity that allows you to see things other people can't see. Your genius, your true gift, has to do with the capacity, the ability, the willingness to really step forward in this world as a power, not as a pawn, but as a power who says, here I am. I'm ready to flourish. I'm ready to shine. I'm ready to be at my best self. And you invite others. And pretty soon you're surrounded by other people claiming their genius. And those geniuses have different colors, different flavors, different ways of being, but they comprise a tribe, a way of thinking, a way of understanding that leads to liberation, love, and grace. So let's finish with just one more little visualization, if you would. You can cast your eyes down or close your eyes. And I want you to imagine yourself being 90 years old. Maybe 100, maybe 110. But you're further out there in the years. And imagine that you have been claiming your superpower from this moment all the way through the years to that point in time. And as you use your imagination, see who you are, see what you look like at that age. And if you will, allow that image, that older self who's been living this genius and letting it shine, imagine that genius, that older being in front of you, and look into her or his eyes. And as you look into those eyes, notice what you see. Notice what those eyes see in you. Acknowledge and take that in. And if there's any question you have about how to live this path better, there's no greater expert than you about your genius. So ask this older self, how might I let my genius flourish? How might I let myself arrive at a great, wiser, more powerful, more loving, and more effective way of being in the world? The answer may not be in words. It might be a direct knowing. It might be an image. It could be a song. Or it could be a piece of advice. So ask again and see what you get. Take that in. Thank this older, wiser self. And release her, release him. Knowing that's who you're going to visit. That's the friend you're going to visit. That's the friend you're on the journey to. And each step of that journey going forward is claiming more and more of that personal power and genius. I suggest if you have a journal, you write down whatever thoughts, images came to you. Draw a picture. Doesn't matter if you don't think you draw well. Just draw a picture. Draw some images. Go for a walk in nature. Notice what you see. Look around and see what your inner genius brings forward. Take that time, write it down, do some of the exercises that we're going to suggest, and may your inner genius flourish as you step more and more into your personal power and you become a being of power and grace, of gratitude and love in this world. Thank you.
Hey, that was good. You know, I hope people that watch this don't just kind of watch it and go through the motion, but look at it as a skill that you've actually are teaching. I love the way you use the imagination to where it's not only that I'm imagining and creating what I'm imagining, but you're actually tapping into another source of knowledge to get answers to the questions that maybe you don't know the answers to yet. Am I seeing that correctly?
Yep, absolutely. That's what it's about. All about is claiming that inner power and being able to step up to it.
Visualization process and journey to personal power will expand your inner genius
Yep. When you begin to realize and say, perhaps I have an inner genius as opposed to someone has it, I don't. When we stop comparing ourselves to other people and we start, I should have said this, stop comparing ourselves to other people and start looking in within and realize, hey, I have a genius. I have something here. And the secret to it is first knowing your purpose. And you claim your purpose, it's easier then to see your genius and how it flows. And I just thought using those little visualization examples, those 3 times, just seemed to flow with it and seemed to make sense. Hopefully it wasn't too much.
No, it reminds me of I think it was Napoleon Hill, who and I think it was Think and Grow Rich, where he talks about he would have a board meeting in a room, and there was nobody sitting around the table, but he had characters for each, whether it was Abraham Lincoln or Einstein. But he would have a board meeting, and he would ask them their opinions, and he would get their insight.
Yeah.
And I see it very much the same. So yeah, you're in a way, you already have that knowledge, but you might not be able to access it. And this is a good tool to help you access that.
Yeah, that's the boardroom, at your boardroom of wiser, older beings who you admire, right?
I love it. I love it. All right. Well, this is a little tag on to what we already had, so then we might cut it or we might just leave it in. But that was a good discussion. Any last thoughts?
No, if you guys are happy with it and you feel good about it, then I am. Was there anything else you wanted to try to do